Do you find yourself looking for the perfect bottle of wine to serve on your next Stir Friday, but you're not sure where to begin? You have come to the right place because that's exactly what we are going to talk about in this video. My name is Tiffany, and I am so excited you're here. I help busy millennials who feel overwhelmed in the kitchen learn new skills that inspire creative inspiration to create quick, healthy meals with wine pairings. Check out my link in the description below and follow me on social media for daily tips, tricks, recipes, and inspiration. And while you're there, hit that subscribe button because I'm dropping videos like this every week, and I would hate for you to miss out on the next tip or trick shared right here inside my tasting room. I look forward to connecting here and on other social media platforms. In this video, we are going to discuss 3 stir-fry sauces and which wines pair best with them. But that's not all. I also have a super simple strategy that is going to help you elevate your next meal by creating the perfect beverage pairing experience. So be sure to stick around until the end. Let's get started. Now, the first sauce is a savory sauce. And this is what most people think of when it comes to stir fry. So this savory sauce is going to be soy sauce based, maybe have in a little bit of oyster sauce, hoisin sauce, or even fish sauce. Now, another term for savory is umami. So this is another sauce option when it comes to that characteristic stir fry sauce. Now, to go along with these savory options, we want to have a wine that is just as rich, but is also going to complement the spicy notes of that ginger that you also typically find in these savory sauces. So if you are you can go a couple different ways. If you're looking for more of a white option, go with a fruity, crisp white, such as a Pinot Blanc or an unoaked Chardonnay. It's important to do unoaked because the oakiness is going to overpower any of the stir fry, and we don't want that. We want a complementary experience so you can taste both the flavors of the food and the flavor of the wine. So unoaked Chardonnay is your option. Now, if you are more of a red wine drinker, you want to have a fruity, juicy, low tannin red wine, such as a Pinot Noir or a Beaujolais. Pinot Noir is my preferred because it is very versatile when it comes to protein choices. So we'll get to those tips in a moment, but typically if you have steak in your stir fry, a red wine is going to be the better option. Chicken or tofu, a white wine is the better option. Pinot Noir kind of covers all bases and accents more of the veggies. So that is going to be your best red wine option with those savory sauces. Now, before we jump into the other 2 sauces, I want to hear from you. When it comes to stir fry, what is your go-to for a stir fry sauce? Is it more on the savory side, the sweet side, the spicy side? What is your preferred sauce? Drop it in the comments below. I look forward to reading these, learning more about you, and offering my expertise to help you create the perfect wine pairing experience with that sauce on your next Stir Friday. Now, the second sauce that we are going to cover is a spicy or sweet and sour type sauce. Now, this spicy could be full-fledged spicy, filled with red pepper flakes and Thai chili peppers, or it could be more of a sweet heat like the sweet and sour sauce, where you have a little bit of sriracha or red pepper flakes, but you also have some honey or teriyaki to sweeten it up just a little bit. Now, when it comes to these, one thing to keep in mind is that sweet likes heat. So the spicier the food, the sweeter the wine that you want to choose. This could be red or white, depending on the protein and the veggies that you have in your stir fry. When it comes to the tanginess of a sweet and sour sauce, you want to look at the acidity of the wine to match with that tanginess. So typically your drier wines are going to be more acidic, making it the better option for the tanginess in the food. So great options for your spicy or sweet and sour based sauces would be a German Riesling or a Gewürztraminer. These typically come sweet, but not all the time. German Rieslings can come sweet and dry. So you want to look at the rest of the sauce and figure out, are you wanting to cut back on the heat a little bit? If yes, then you want a sweeter wine. If you're wanting to accent the tanginess of the sweet and sour sauce, then a drier wine is going to be your better option. But both a Riesling and a Gewürztraminer are going to pair well with your spicy stir-fry sauces and your sweet and sour sauces. Now, before we dive into the third stir-fry sauce, I want to remind you to hit the subscribe button because I'm dropping videos like this every week, and I would hate for you to miss out on the next tip or trick right here inside my tasting room. So the last stir-fry sauce that we are going to discuss is a green rich vegetable stir-fry. So typically with these veggie rich stir-fries, you might have a little bit of soy sauce, you might have a little bit of teriyaki sauce, or you might just be focused on a little bit of seasoning and you want to enjoy the full flavor of those veggies in general. Now, when it comes to a green, rich vegetable stir fry, one thing to keep in mind is that you are going to need a bold wine to pair with this because the vegetables themselves are going to be very bold. So common veggies that are going to be in this stir fry would be asparagus and green bell pepper. They have very strong flavors and typically overpower flavors of the other vegetables, not to mention the sauce. And we don't want that to overpower our wine as well, because then what's the point in pouring the wine or figuring out what's going to pair best? It's not worth it. So find yourself a bold wine such as a Sauvignon Blanc or a Grenier Veltliner to go with these hearty, vegetable-rich stir fries. The boldness of those wines are going to complement the boldness of the veggies without one overpowering the other, creating the perfect balance of your stir Friday. Now let's keep this momentum going and help you elevate every meal with this simple strategy to create the perfect beverage pairing experience. Tip number 1, as a general rule, red with red and white with white. So in general, red wines are going to pair best with your red meats or tomato-based sauces, whereas white wines are going to pair best with your white meats and cream, cheese, garlic-based sauces. But this isn't always the case, which leads us to tip number 2, consider your sides and seasonings. Now, when you are looking for the perfect wine to go with that meal, you need to look at the entire meal as a whole, not just the main course or the protein. For example, if you are grilling a nice piece of steak, you might have it seasoned with a little bit of garlic or onion powder, maybe salt and pepper. Regardless, that steak itself, you're going to want to pair it with a red wine. But when you look at the seasonings and what you're serving that steak with, you may or may not want that red wine. So if you have your steak being served with some homemade bruschetta and grilled or roasted veggies, a red wine such as a Cabernet Sauvignon or a Pinot Noir is still going to be a great option. But if you're serving that steak with honey roasted carrots and garlic mashed potatoes, a Sauvignon Blanc is going to be better than that red wine because of the garlic flavor in the mashed potatoes and the sweet honey notes of those carrots. And tip number 3, sweet likes heat. If you find yourself cooking spicy dishes or enjoying cuisine such as Mexican, Indian, or curry dishes, you want a sweet wine, either red or white, depending on what is in the meal and what you're serving. But you want a sweet wine to cut back on the spiciness and create a well-balanced meal. Now, if you are ready to create your own perfect pairing and become the wine guru in your social circle, download your copy of my free basic food and wine pairing guide in the description below and start elevating your meals right away today.